Hello and welcome into LFC Transfer Room, another stream today, which we will be looking ahead to the Crystal Palace pre-season friendly tomorrow. Probably touching on the United result a little bit, a few transfer rumours here and there, and just seeing what we can come up with for the next hour, really. I'm joined by James and Bob. I'll start with you, James. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's been a nice day for it today. Actually, it's not been silly hot. Nice breeze. Bit of a walk with the dog. Yeah, I'd say I'm all chilled now, ready for this.
Good stuff. And how about you, Bob? How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Not long got in from work, but been in a nice air-conditioned office, so I can't complain too much regarding the heat at the moment.
Oh, it's horrendous, the heat. Horrendous. Us Brits are not used to this amount of sun.
Can't say it's horrendous until you get to November. You'll look back at this moment.
I prefer the cold, you know.
I love it.
The sun.
No, November, like autumn's the best period. Like when it's frosty on ground and all the leaves are brown and everything like that, and you're out with the dog, it's amazing.
Yeah, I prefer winter to summer. I hate being sweating. Hate it. Even to Jen and Cedric in the chat. If you're only around here, don't forget to give a like and a subscribe. We'll start just mulling over, James, on the United result, because United fans on Twitter seem to think they're going to win the league. And
Good.
Fans on Twitter seem to think that there's an absolute meltdown at the club because we've been beat 4-0 by United.
Grow up.
Mad, what do you think?
Well, firstly, it's wonderful, isn't it, to see Man United fans offer friendly think, "Oh, this is it. We're back. We're gonna," because you want them to climb up a little hill before they fall again. It's more enjoyable, isn't it? I think Reece Williams, we knew wasn't, he turns slower than the QE2, and he proved that. If Martial can press him, fair enough. But and then it was more defensive mistakes and stuff. I think the thing that I found funniest is all the social media hype about Nunez missing one shot. Suddenly means he's a terrible striker because he missed one shot, despite the fact he had to hit it over the defender, so he had to try and strike it with power over the defender. But suddenly, it's not worth a penny because he missed one shot, which I find utterly ridiculous. And everyone just needs to calm down.
Yeah, Bob, James mentions there about Nunez. Didn't get many minutes. He had only had one session before the game with the squad, brand new signing, and everyone seems to think he's going to be a flop because of that one miss. What's your thoughts on him?
No, he needs time. He'll be all right. Like you said, he only had the one session. I don't know how brutal that session was because a few people noticed. I noticed it myself. After a few shuttles, he was absolutely breathing out of, like Klopp said, his lungs looked like they were about to burst. And that was him on for, half an hour? It was a bit of a disjointed kind of thing because obviously there was a new team every half an hour. So, losing wasn't great, but there was obviously mitigating things as to why that happened. Like I said, the disjointed three teams thing. I mean, United went full strength, like we're playing a final. When I saw their lineup at the beginning of the game, I thought, like, have I missed something here? Is this some sort of FA Cup final or something? But yeah, good for them to get carried away, roll on this season. I wasn't ready before the first friendly. I was still feeling a little bit of the hangover from last season. I was like, I don't know if because like last season just felt like it went on and on and on and on, and every 3 days was just intense. You just couldn't get your mind to just switch off because every game was like, you have to win this one, you have to win this one. So after the final, everything that happened around the final, you just thought, I can't even be arsed with footy for a bit. But after that friendly, seeing the new signings, back ready to go now. So yeah, bring it on. Nunez will be. I think he'll be all right. I'm not sure if the plan was to start him at the beginning, but obviously the Jota injury might have changed that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't be arsed with footy, to be honest with you. I'm still happy the Prem's a few weeks away.
I don't blame you at all.
Reasons, yeah. Then the season last was just so intense, and ending it in Paris was probably the worst way to end the season, to be honest with you, for all of us. And yeah, I'm just fed up with footy, to be honest. And the ballot today has fucked all the fans over as well. So I think that's just...
Anyone had any success on that? I mean, I've been unsuccessful in all games that I tried. So.
Every single person's been unsuccessful in all games, it seems. It's mad. Don't even know why. But James, before we jump into it, Jen thank you as always. We do appreciate your support. Everyone does go back into the channel. You are an absolute hero to this channel. Bob touched on, James, that United went strong and Liverpool did have a new team every 30 minutes. Do you think that it's harsh to reflect the performance on that scoreline for them reasons? Because United pretty much went full strength bar CR7.
Yeah. I mean, the middle one was the risky one, wasn't it? You know, because you had 15 minutes till half-time, and then 15 minutes again. It was the second one, which was thing, but it's a friendly. It's minutes in the legs. It's playing a competitive game of football. There was one moment, I think it was the third rotation, when Trent and Salah were on together. Ball comes to Trent. He back heels it to Salah, drives past Salah. Salah back heels it back to Trent. Trent drives through, tries to whip it across to Nunez and just under hits the pass. If you can find that clip, honestly, it was some of the best football, like preseason football you see, because that first touch from Trent was outrageous. Straight to Salah's feet. It was, but you're going to get, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for moments of connection. I'm not looking for a win. Diaz, he looked great.
I thought Carvalho looked good as well.
Yeah, them two look like they've got a bit of a connection going, actually, don't they? Diaz and Carvalho.
Yeah, Carvalho fit it right in with Diaz and Nunez, especially with the Portuguese language speaking. I think that'll help a lot. But Bob, going into tomorrow's game, don't know if many will be able to watch it. Would have been an afternoon kickoff, but we are meant to be fielding a stronger side. Do you think it'll be two teams, 45 minutes each, or do you think might be teams looking to get 60 minutes under their legs and that now?
I think it'll be two teams, 45 minutes each. I think it might be a bit too soon for half an hours. I mean, sorry, the 60-minute ones, because they're still going to have a grueling training camp in Austria to come yet. So this is like mild. If Nunez thought this was grueling, wait till he gets to Austria, where there's like no media or nothing going on, just brutal sessions. So yeah, I still think it'll be 45 minutes each. Some might not even do 45, to be fair. The internationals that came back late and stuff. So I think, yeah, it'll be 45 minutes each. And then we'll go from there. Hopefully, though, we start with a stronger one. Like that United game, I feel like if the team that came on for the last half an hour was on for the first half an hour, just to give us that base, I don't think the scoreline, not that it matters, would have ended up that way. So maybe if you do it that way and then bring on, because like the first team that played that day, you had Nat Phillips, who's not going to be there, Reece Williams, who's not going to be there. Obviously, you had a young right back. Basically, the back line essentially are not going to be there come the beginning of the season. So, like I said, it's to take with a pinch of salt. But if it was Konate and Virgil starting for the first half an hour, I don't think United take 3-goal lead, should we say.
Yeah, I agree with Brian's comment here as well. The only United game that does matter is the 22nd of August. But James, they did look a bit fucked, didn't they, in that United game at times, the Liverpool team? Do you think that is just a sense of the ones who did start have been in the preseason now for about a week, so it's just been an intense week? Do you reckon that's why they were just absolutely done in?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at everyone's showing the Conte 43 up and downs of the pitch and look how hard we're training. But actually, when you looked at the first session of Liverpool's pre-season training, they actually brought in a team of doctors and equipment. They tied them all up to a treadmill, put a mask on, and pushed them to breaking point. Like they had to run on, they were reducing oxygen and tracking all their outputs and everything like that, and took them to breaking point and then took the lactate. So what Conte's done on a pitch, they did in a lab. So they pretty much know everyone's maximum. And the point at the moment is to push that maximum up. So I think they're all at different stage of fitness. I think Nunez has got a little bit way to go to catch up to the Liverpool way. But when you look at what Liverpool have been doing, and pre-seasons throughout the entire Klopp era, we'll push you to breaking, then we'll put you in a match. Because when you play for Liverpool, back end of the season, you're going to be playing every 3 days. So you need to be in supreme condition. And it seems to work.
James speaks about pre-seasons there. There's a few exciting players getting the first full pre-season under Jurgen Klopp, Luis Diaz being one of them. And you've got all our new boys as well, Ramsey, Carvalho, Nunez. Which one are you most excited for to have that full pre-season under Klopp? Because it does evolve players, as we've seen time and time again. Do you think Luis Diaz is going to be more special next year than he already is? Do you think Nunez will hit the ground running because of the full preseason with Klopp?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about Diaz having a full preseason because he was exciting last season. He didn't play in international football, and they haven't qualified for the World Cup, so he probably have another preseason midway through. So yeah, that he's exciting. Carvalho is exciting. Nunez, obviously, the mega signing you're looking to see. The only thing with Nunez, if we follow the Fabinho trend, because he came in and had a full preseason, but he didn't start a game till about November, and people were like, "Why did we even buy him?" kind of thing. But it was just Klopp getting him used to how we work and how he wants things to be done. So, like I said, had Jota not been injured, my feeling going into the season was I wouldn't be surprised if Nunez is kind of on the same sort of path. But obviously, with him being a forward, it's easy to sub him on. With Fabinho, it was a bit tricky being a DM to just sub you on for every half an hour just for you to understand what we're trying to win games kind of thing. So, but yeah, definitely Carvalho is the one. I'm glad that we're not loaning him out. Exciting as in to see where exactly we play him. Like I know he can play in all these different roles. In his interview when he first signed, he says he prefers number 10 on the wing. I want to see what wing that will be. Will it be to cover Salah or will he be number 10? And I know he's not a new signing, but I always get excited about Harvey Elliott as well.
I think he's trying too hard at the moment. I think he's taking. Yeah, I was chatting to JK about it off stream. Do you not think that he's just taking a few extra steps, like when he's dribbling with the ball, instead of just playing it slightly easier because he's dying to impress? It's like that. I'm trying a bit too hard, and that's just maturity. And I think he really wants it. You can see it in his face. I think he really wants it. And I think he's just pushing it a step too far or a pass too far. But that's just my opinion on him. I think he's definitely exciting.
I think he knows how well he started last season. So he probably wants to start like that again. He was our best player until his injury in that squad. But looking ahead to the Palace game, I've just had a little look. They've only brought in Cheek Decore, and then they've brought in what looks like
Sam Johnson.
Yeah, as a backup option, maybe, and Malcolm Iwobi from Derby. So they haven't really brought anyone in, and they've lost Conor Gallagher. So looking at them, James, do you think it's a pretty much guaranteed win tomorrow? Even if we field a weaker up 11, surely our weaker 11 is still stronger than what Palace can field as a first team 11.
Yeah, I think we want to score goals. I don't care about winning. I'm going to take that off like depression because we might put Adrian in goal, and then therefore you can expect to concede goals. So I just want to see Salah get one in because I think he needs it. How that United one didn't go in, I'll have no idea. That was Salah perfect. So I think he needs to get one. I think Diaz needs one, and I think Nunez needs one. As long as all of them get a goal or two in pre-season, we're good. Should happen against Palace. If not, it's not the end of the world. Depends what they've done before. But yeah, I just think each of them need a goal just to feel confident going in. I think Trent needs a free kick on target.
Potentially, we can all hope. But James makes a comment there about Nunez needing a goal. Do you think it's important for him to lay the foundations down in pre-season and potentially get a few goals just to boost his morale a little bit going into the opening weekend in the Premier League?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not necessarily tomorrow, but throughout this pre-season, if he can at least hit the net a couple of times, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's against Leipzig, Strasbourg, whoever it is, just to get because obviously that's going to give him a little bit more confidence going into the season. So yeah, definitely I'll be intrigued to see if he can do that. I kept speaking about Jota being injured. The guy I completely forgot about that can probably start the season is Bobby Firmino. And I completely forgot about him wrongly, really. But yeah, if he stays away from injuries, because I can see us trying to start the season with as less new players as possible. Because when you're in the Premier League, as we all know, against Man City, we can't afford to ease our way in. It's like Fulham on the first day, we have to win. On August, we have to win the game. So it's not like we'll just, get a draw here, move along and start kicking into gear in January again. Because by then it could be too late, kind of thing. But yeah, a few goals. I want to see a few goals from Nunez as well, because it's not a major concern, but like obviously I love the way he plays. But considering where we've come from, someone like Sadio Mane, and obviously he's his replacement, I just feel sometimes his end product, whether it's the final, like taking someone on one, no problem. It's exciting. You know it's coming. You know he's got a beating of his man 9 times out of 10. It's just getting a goal or getting that assist on a more regular basis would be something that I'd be looking forward to this pre-season if we can do that.
I've got to hear as well, with Josh being injured. If it's his hamstring, James, it could be looking at about 2 months out. Yeah. Does it worry you? Or because we are so stacked in the attack, are you not too bothered? Because if we started that game against United as a 4-2-3-1, so it does look as though that's something Klopp wants. So you've got plenty of options for the 3 and the 1 without Jota playing. So how concerned are you by Jota's injury?
I think we undervalue Jota quite a lot as a fan base. You know, we always say just bring him off the bench, bring him off, especially towards the end of the last season. But he was like second top scorer in the Premier League. But having said that, we're now in a position where we have 3 potential centre forwards in Nunez, Firmino, and Jota. We have 3 potential left wings in Carvalho, Nunez, who played there for Benfica quite a lot, and Diaz. So we've got this brilliant rotation. The big problem is if we lose Salah. That's the big one, because no one else really plays his position. And praise be whoever, he's bulletproof, it seems. So I think Jota, Firmino, you know, we lost Firmino for a large part of last season, and I think Jota's just having his turn, and it's a real shame because I think he's one of the most deadliest finishers, poachers that we've got. But I don't think it changes the plan. The plan is don't lose a Premier League game, because if you do, you could lose the league. It's pretty much down to that now, isn't it?
Well, Drew makes a comment here, Bob, about Jota's the only consistent proven goal scorer in the striker role at the minute. So throwing that into it, I worry that if Jota's going to miss about 2 months, potentially, if it is a hamstring.
Have you seen that pose? Sorry, have you seen the pose of Drew like that on his... Put it back on, you look...
Very intelligent, Drew.
Yeah.
Concern-wise, as long as we don't pick up any more injuries up front, like James said, I think we've got adequate cover there. He is the most consistent goal scorer, but saying that, we've just put Nunez, who by his past record is a consistent goal scorer. Now, obviously, the caveat to that, he still needs to adjust, he still needs to find his feet in the Prem, but Firmino can get quite important goals sometimes. I just hope, especially with someone like Firmino, that he can get a really good pre-season in him. And I know he's in his last year. Who knows what's going to happen, whether we're going to offer him a new deal or not. But he's one of Klopp's favourites, and I don't think he's done yet. Maybe not scoring-wise, but I'm sure Salah enjoys playing with him because he knows he'll get goals. Like, it'll be intriguing to see when Nunez is fully settled in his role as a number 9, how the goals kind of get shared out between him and Salah, because I mean, when Mane was banging him in through the middle last season, Salah wasn't getting many. So we'll have to wait and see. Overall, I don't really care as long as we win who scores, to be honest. Salah might care, but I'm not that fussed. Whoever scores, if it's Van Dijk, whoever. But yeah, goal scorer wise, Jota is the most prolific, but Nunez can fill that void, I think.
I want to pull this comment up here as well from Rash James. Liverpool finishing the top 4. I'd like to know, Rash, what your reasoning behind that, to be honest with you, because I don't understand why. We've lost Mane, but surely
this is the thing, isn't it? You know, it's one of those statements that people put out there, just you won't finish in the top 4, you won't win the league and stuff like that. It's lazy to say, you know.
Listen, we finished in the top 4 with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams.
Yeah.
Come back. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's ever going to
remember we have Ben Davis. No, he didn't play, but he's on 60 grand a week for a reason.
He's yet to make his debut. He's long awaited
He won't
debut.
make a debut.
That is a crazy signing. That was. I still don't get it to this day. I don't get it to this day.
James hates him since he found out he's gone.
I'm devastated about it. I am making a video on it, but I think it's one of those, isn't it, where like I just see Raz, he's inconsistent. He drifts out of matches, Jota, and that's what poachers do. They drift out of matches.
I've seen that comment about him saying Jota's inconsistent, but then I've just had a look, and in the Premier League alone last year, in 35 games, Jota had 15 goals and 4 assists. I just don't understand how that's inconsistent, having 19 goal contributions.
I think people are used to Firmino being involved all the time. Yeah. So then when it's someone different that doesn't, in that number 9 position, that's not as involved as a Firmino or Mane would be, it's kind of like, oh, what is he doing? And then bang, he's put it in the net. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm not saying he is this, but it's a Gary Lineker type thing, isn't it? Where you do nothing in a game and just appear and score a goal. And Jota's got a great knack of that. Somehow with his head for a midget, great in the air, and he can score with both feet. And he just seems to get himself in a position to score a goal when he needs to. That's his skill. That is invaluable.
I've often found myself loads screaming, thinking, what have you done for 88 minutes? And he scores.
Yeah. We've had the debate, haven't we, when it was about, do you start Diaz or do you start Jota?
What would you do on that, Bob? Diaz or Jota, opening day of the season? Who would you start in the left wing's role?
Oh, Diaz. I think for me, Jota should be just a number 9. I don't think on the wing it works quite as well. I just think he should just be central. That's where he got most of his goals last season. Even at Wolves, when he was sort of playing off the left, but he was kind of cheating. He was really close to Jimenez. So as soon as they were on the break, he was pretty much next to him. So yeah, I'd class him as a number. For me, the order on the left wing probably be Diaz, and then maybe Carvalho, and then maybe Jota. And that's not to say that Carvalho is better than Jota, just suiting to the role kind of thing rather than anything else.
Speaking of Diaz, James, full pre-season under his belt by the end of this pre-season, and I think I'm more excited about what he's going to be like next season than any other player within our squad. And dare I say it, I see when I say Luis Suarez, not like the Luis Suarez package. I feel like he's the closest thing to Suarez we've had since Suarez.
He's not looking to do anything else apart from humiliate the person in front of him.
Yeah, win at all costs. That's what I like about
him. But interestingly, as much as I'm excited about Diaz, he isn't the player that I think is going to have the biggest season. Something in me says this is going to be a big year for Trent. He's going to do something outrageous because I think he's sick of all the discussion. All the stats go in Trent's favour. You look at defensive stats, he outranks Reece James, but people still says he can't defend. I think he's going to do something this year, Trent, that just obliterates the competition. Because he's already the best right back in the world. I think he's going to do something special. Well, just look at the interlink with Salah. That was outrageous. I think he's just going to go the next step and start controlling games. Not distributing games, controlling games. I think he's going to start driving forward with the ball, doing things. I think he's going to go to a different level this year. And with Diaz on the other side, sprinting at them at full pace, I think it could be absolutely scary for defenders.
I think you're hinting at like a Kevin De Bruyne type impact.
More, do you remember when Gerrard played right back? With the right wing, right wing. He played right back like 2 occasions, right wing, and it was just absolute marauding forward. And I think Salah's going slightly more inside. I think he's taking that space, and I think Henderson's role is going to be to run less and cover more. That's my prediction. I think Trent's going to have something special this year.
Would you agree with that, Bob, or do you think he's the best in the world? Can he get better?
Yeah, he can definitely get better. Definitely, I can see him having a big season. The only thing that could, with the Henderson situation, I mean, that's why I think we were all sort of wanting another midfielder, because in my view, I can see Henderson sharing the Fabinho role this year, covering Fabinho, because Fabinho has got at least one injury in him in the season, and he tends to be a little 4 weaker here and there. takes his time to come back.
Cheeky 4-weeker.
Cheeky 4-week break. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I can see him sharing that role. And if we're to go about how we started last season, that right-hand side, it was Trent, Harvey Elliott, and Salah. And Henderson was missing out quite a lot for young Harvey Elliott. So if we start again like that, then it's going to be exciting down that side, to be quite honest with you. But I don't see how we then get Carvalho in on the other side, because then you've got two young centre midfielders.
I don't think both will play. I think we're playing the 4-2-3-1, and I think someone's going to play a number 10, and that gives Trent space to attack. So I think it's going to be between Carvalho and Elliott for who plays those games, because I think Elliott drifts to the right. I think Carvalho drifts to the left a little bit naturally. I think it's going to be one of those, or Firmino. I think when Nunez starts firing, Firmino's going to take the number 10 spot as well. Which 3 players for that? What 3 players would you want?
Yeah.
Speaking of a midfielder, had a few people tell us today about Matthias Nunez from Sporting. Apparently, Chelsea want him as well. Apparently, 30 mil will get him. Just had a quick look at his stats. Looks all right, to be fair. Only 23 from Brazil. Meant to be Sporting's best player. Is it a risky game getting all the best people out of Portugal, James, do you reckon? Or...
No, that's our feeder league, isn't it now?
Looks like.
Like we've Southampton, you know, a feeder club. I mean, that's in the past. What we now have is a feeder league where we just pick whoever we want from Porto, Benfica, Sporting. We'll just take the ones that we want. You guys carry on with your little nothing league. We'll win the Champions League. Everything's peachy. I think consistency in language, flexibility. It's exciting, isn't it? You know, Carvalho, Firmino, Diaz, all are fluent in Portuguese. No one can understand Robertson anyway, so that's fine. I think, yeah, there's something there, isn't there? There's something that fits in terms of what we're trying to do about how he plays. So,
have you seen much of him?
Not really, because Sporting, you know, I don't watch the competitions that United and Spurs are in. So if we could get one of those fans, they've probably seen him in one of the Conference Cup or whatever it is that they're in. But if Chelsea are interested, I mean, Chelsea have been doing some good business. Sorry, but Koulibaly and Sterling is good business. 5-year contract's mental, but it's good business. So if they're interested and we're interested, then there's something in it. Man City as well, I read.
Well, the person who told me about it's the one who told me that Mo Salah would be announced on the day that he was. So there is legs to it, it seems, with this Matthias Nunez. Would you take him? It does look as though we are in the market for Bellingham, but it's probably going to be next summer. Would you take Matthias Nunez from Sporting? And he is only 23. It's a no risk, really. You can probably sell him on if he's crap.
I'd probably take him as long as you can offer me the guarantee that it doesn't affect the Bellingham funds. If it touches the Bellingham funds, then I'd rather not. Just leave it then. Do you know what I mean? And that's purely because as well, I haven't really seen much of him, whereas I've seen Bellingham and we're all looking forward to hopefully getting him through the door. But say, for example, if Ox leaves and we've got that money there that can get the Nunez in and still get Bellingham next year, then I'm all in. I'm all in for a bit of refreshing in the midfield, to be fair, because apart from Harvey Elliott and Carvalho, and I know that's 2 players, but they're not going to start every week. We do need to refresh that area because Henderson and Thiago are both 30 plus, and Fabinho is not too far behind. So we've done that bit in attack where we've refreshed that. We're good in defence, where it's still young. We've got Konate coming through, Trent still obviously young, Robertson, Tsimikas. It's just the midfield area now. It just needs a bit of rejuvenating step by step. So, like I said, as long as you can guarantee me that we'll buy him, and it's not like we're buying him and then next year it's like, well, we've got him last year, so we can't get Bellingham now. No.
So would you be happy then to not have a midfield signing this summer if it meant waiting and we definitely get you Bellingham next summer?
Obviously we don't know 100%, but if you said to me we're definitely getting Bellingham next summer, then I'd go with the options we've got, yeah.
What about
Because
Bellingham
up
in
there at the
January?
moment, I don't see one that stands out to that kind of Bellingham level that we can just get in. I mean, this is kind of similar to when we didn't get Van Dijk, and I was in the camp of just get anybody, because at that time our defense was absolutely shocking. Like we just wanted some kind of centre half from somewhere, and they never did. And I kind of learned from then my own lesson, just to kind of be patient. So yeah, if we can definitely get Bellingham, then I'll keep the powder dry, as they say.
Is there a chance that Dortmund can be out of the Champions League before the World Cup? Anyone know? Does the Champions League group stages finish earlier this year because of the World Cup?
Could be, but the only problem is then what happens if he has a good World Cup?
No, I'm just thinking in hindsight, if they're out of the Champions League, you could probably sign Jude Bellingham in January, no?
Can you see us doing 100 million plus in January?
Done Virgil van Dijk in January.
Very true. Very, very true.
Stand Andy Carroll in January.
I mean, people are saying we should do a Naby Keita kind of deal on Bellingham, but I don't see why Dortmund, if you're Dortmund, speaking from Dortmund's perspective, I don't know why you'd want to agree to that when you've got an asset that can rise in value as the year goes on.
30 million sounds like a calculated risk, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like it's a finished article. It might be the end for Naby Keita, I think, if we sign this kid.
He's only 23 though, so he probably would spend a period of time on the bench bedding in, wouldn't he? If we did.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats on FBref. Have a look if you ever get bored. Top 15% for pressing the ball, top 1% for carrying the ball, predominantly right-sided midfielder.
But that's who we will have, isn't it? Pressures and
short passing statistics in the top 15%. It basically sounds like, and looking at it, he is a younger Henderson type player who picks up the ball, carries it forward, passes it off, and then presses. And yeah, if we've got a bit more energy and a bit more rotation, anything's better than Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Well, I
didn't think he looked bad in the first friendly, but he just needs to go for his own sanity.
I thought the Ox was one of our better players, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but even a broken clock's right twice a day. And Ox coming good in a pre-season friendly is like United winning 4-0. It don't really matter.
I'm prepared to see what his pre-season is saying with Ox, to be honest. He's not going to be starting for us every game, but I think he's probably midfield-wise. He's the only one that actually, when he's playing properly, that drives forward like he was the other day. But it's how often he does that, because it looks like he tends to lose confidence in himself quite quickly. Like if he had a shot and it is wayward, it feels like he just beats himself up about it. Whereas Salah will have a shot, he'll go wayward and he'll just laugh. God, I'm just going to have another one soon, so it's not a problem.
I would rather say, do you want to go back to Southampton? You go back to Southampton. We'll give Southampton 15 million and we'll take James Ward-Prowse.
Really?
Come on. Yeah. Are you talking for set pieces here?
No, as a player, cracking player.
I don't know,
He's a good player,
But again, if it was James Ward-Prowse, then everyone would be like, yeah, he's brilliant. He cracking player.
I want to pull some things up.
Compared to the Ox I'm doing here, I'm not comparing him to like Jude Bellingham here, just to put that out there. I'm not saying Ward-Prowse over Jude Bellingham.
No, but you know what? I'm going to get some things up here. I'm doing a video on Jude Bellingham. As always, it seems like that's all I do with my life at the minute. But Charlie got me some cool graphics, off that 23 Sports. And it's shown me, if I whack this up now, let me see. If you see, Jude Bellingham for Dortmund seems to play predominantly on the left-hand side. And if you look at this one here, it proves that, because that's his passes by his zone. He's playing predominantly for Dortmund on the left-hand side of their midfield. So now that makes me think...
That's the Thiago zone, isn't it?
Yeah, so is that why Klopp's prepared to wait a year for Bellingham, because he sees him as the Thiago long-term replacement? Like all those fans are talking about him playing the right side of midfield, which he can do. Them heat maps do show he can play the right side of midfield if wanted to, but he predominantly plays on the left-hand side for Dortmund. So do you think he's the long-term replacement for Thiago? Put that to any of you.
I've always had it down. I mean, up until I've seen that graphic, I've always had it down as it will be the Henderson replacement on the right-hand side.
That's what I thought.
Like I said, now you showed that graphic, it could be the Thiago replacement. It just depends. We're not sure what's going to happen with this new contract that's on the table for Keita, because if he signs a new deal, which I think he will, to be honest, because it will be a bit mad letting the 27-year-old walk out on a free. We can't keep doing that every year. We do need to make some money back on some of these people. Left and sidewise, he could come and do the job there, but I don't know. I'm just more. In my head, I'm more seeing on the right with Trent working things through out there, but it could turn out.
Yeah, I thought Curtis Jones was going to be Thiago's replacement just because he's a playmaker, Curtis Jones. Whilst he can't, I don't think he dominates in Premier League matches, in Carling Cup matches, when he's the main player, he dominates and playmakes like Thiago. But it's interesting that you say that because Bellingham could, you've got Bellingham, Nunez, Firmino, there's your midfield for the next 5 years.
Another thing I've seen as well is this, or how similar he is to Naby Keita. Does that worry you?
You got to look at that. You got to look at those numbers, though, don't you? That was like 1.9 dribbles to 4.
But the thing is,
like double stats. It's just the graphic looks.
Some of these players, right? Obviously, we all love Klopp, and he's a genius. But I think, obviously, when we buy them, he asks them, some of them anyway, to do different things to what they were doing when they were playing for their team. So we go back to like Wijnaldum, who was getting 15 goals for Newcastle. He comes to us and he's basically asked to just block passing lanes. And when you're watching that on TV, you're like, what the hell are you doing? You're not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't see that kind of thing. It's the same with Naby. Like when we were watching Naby for Leipzig, he was literally box to box, driving with the ball. Now, I don't think he's allowed to do that kind of thing for Liverpool. Just get the ball and just run forward like carelessly. Same with Curtis. When we was watching him for the under-23s, he was like a left winger full of tricks, beat a man. He was like a flair player. But I think we're kind of slowly trying to turn him into like a controlling midfielder, which kind of, I think personally is taking away a little bit off Curtis's game, to be honest. If he was allowed to play like he was on the captaining on the under-23s on the left wing, where basically just do your thing kind of thing, pull out the tricks that you've got and all the rest of it, then you can't really do all that in centre midfield because if the ball gets linked off you, they run out of defence.
I do think you're right there, Bob. I think the Liverpool midfield, and I think this is where fans get so irate about players at times, but I do think Klopp's central midfield is about platform to build forward. It blocks off, in the high press in their half. It keeps opposition pinned in their half. It's not about, your Frank Lampards, your Gerrards bursting into the box and stuff like that, because then you leave a hole to be counter-pressed and counter-attacked. And that's not what he wants. I think Klopp wants, we'll just stay in your half and our midfield will do all the work so the flair players can take the risks. And sometimes I think that's, that leads to players, reputation of players going, oh, well, they're no good, they're no this, they're no that. Defensive midfielder makes last-minute tackles, Firmino makes some great tackles, so he's a great player. But the two central midfielders, like Wijnaldum and Henderson, that was one of the best central midfield partnerships in the Premier League.
They get slaughtered.
They didn't do anything.
Yeah, they call it Brexit midfield, but literally, it's like I don't think they're allowed. Like and there's another thing because when Ronaldo went away and played for Holland, at number 10, he's getting goals, and everyone's getting furious. Like, why is he not doing that for us? But pretty much, it's like he's asked to do something else.
He's one of the most criminally underrated footballers to ever play for Liverpool, I think, Jorginho Wijnaldum.
I 100% agree.
I'd honestly take him back on a loan.
100% agree. Oh, on a loan. 200%.
Well, we're not going to pay his wages in full for the next. He's on ridiculous money, isn't he? He's on PSG money. But yeah, I'd have him back on loan. I think he's a great player because when Klopp took the reins off against Barcelona,
that's it.
He just went, get in the box.
That's it, exactly.
That's what he did. But that was a calculated risk. And I think that's where people, well, why didn't he do it all the time? That was a calculated risk because we had to take it.
Exactly.
It wasn't how we should play.
Exactly. And that's an instruction from the manager, though. The manager's telling him that get in the box. If the manager before the game is telling him sit, he has to sit. But if you're watching it, you're like, oh, you're just rubbish. Do you know what I mean? And
See, loads of our fans moan we don't get enough goals from midfield, but like you both commented on, we don't score many from midfield. It's our system. Do you think if we do go to a 4-2-3-1, more goals will come from midfield?
Probably more from number 10, which is that part of the midfield or is it part of the forward line?
You'd probably count the 3 and the 1 as the forward line, and the 2 as the midfield in that instance, maybe.
Still less. I think the 10's going to just create opportunities. Because you've got 3 strikers. In essence, we're playing 1 creative player and 3 strikers.
Well, our fullbacks are the creative players as well, to be fair.
Yeah, which lets the 2 wingers be strikers. Mm-hmm. So you've got 3 creative players, 3 strikers, 4 defenders. But that's fine. It's just the thing. We were the highest scoring team in the Premier League, apart from the last 3 games of the season. We got overtaken by City. It's not like we struggled to score goals. It's just our midfielders don't score them.
Well, to get your thoughts on this, Bob, I'm completely against it because I think he should cement his place as the best right back and ever to play the game. Would you have Trent move into midfield if Calvin Ramsey's good enough?
No. I'll keep him at right back, thank you. He's got all the stats that he's getting at the moment from right back. Midfield, again, like we've just finished saying, it's a different function in there. He might not be allowed to do the things he's doing at right back because it's a different job to be in centre midfield under Klopp for Liverpool. So, no, I'd rather us just kept him at right back where he's doing exceptionally well at the moment and just keep moving forward to that.
Couldn't agree more. For me, it's like I liken Trent to when John Olomu came into rugby. Like suddenly, why have you got this world-class, massive player out on the wing? And that's what Trent is. Trent is a world-class central midfield talent. And why have you put him on the wing? Because he's going to change the game from there. Suddenly, this world-class player is going to be against wingers who don't like to defend, and he's going to make them look stupid, and he's going to do things that win team winners medals and leagues and stuff like that. And just as John Lomu did, yes, he did it with pure power and steamrollering people. Trent's doing it with the ability to see the entire pitch and put a ball wherever he damn well pleases. And
he doesn't really play like a fullback that much anyway. Like, you know how Robertson is always on the overlap? Trent
he's starting to come more into central midfield now, isn't he? He's coming at the edge of the box. So
he might have said to the manager that he wants to play centre midfield, but they have maybe met in the middle of it and go, well, I'll still keep you at right back, but you can do centre midfield things from right back. Because that kind of a little bit frustrates me from time to time. When Salah's got the ball, I'm like, why have we not got anyone overlapping? And it tends to be Henderson from midfield that does the overlap. And then Trent comes in where Henderson is in midfield anyway. So I think maybe start in midfield.
With Trent, it's like having De Bruyne at right back. So why change it? You've got that weapon as far back as your right back, and you've got more weapons than in your midfield. And just want to bring this comment up from Patrick. Curtis Jones doesn't lose the ball that often. He's in the 95th percentile for progressive carries against players in his position.
I think the reason he's not on the wing is because of his pace. I'd agree with that. But I don't agree with the losing the ball thing. I think he's actually very good. I think, again, what we're doing as Liverpool fans is we're looking at Thiago, who is probably in the 99th percentile, and going, why isn't Curtis Jones there? Well, that's Thiago. So he's not going to, we're not, if we were Stoke fans watching central midfielders every week and we saw Curtis Jones, we'd be like, Jesus Christ, that guy never loses the ball. And this is the thing, we're spoiled. We're spoiled as fans. So when we have someone that's developing and not at that 99th percentile, we think, well, you're not very good. It's not the case. He's very, very good. I think I agree with his pace. I think that's the reason he's not a left winger. I think he's just a little bit shy for that, but I think he'll be a great central midfielder. And they tend to come through later because that's maturity of seeing the picture and knowing how to play and controlling the game. I just think he's slightly off Thiago. What would you expect?
I know Klopp says that bringing another midfielder in hampers minutes for the midfielders already there, Bob, but Do you think we do need one to challenge potentially? I've just seen a comment there, Nunez from Sporting, done deal, but I don't think it's done yet. I think it is in talks though.
I think we need one. I think everyone picked up on that quote from Klopp where he was saying Julian Ward is still doing some things, didn't he? The other day. I think that he let that slip. It could be just getting people to sign new contracts or selling people, to be fair. But as soon as he said that, everyone's jumping on that. We must be for someone else. Do we need? I think we do, but it's not giving me sleepless nights. As long as we keep those people that are there at the moment fit, then I'm quite excited to see what Carvalho and Elliott will do. I get his point. Like if you do buy another midfielder, out of Curtis Carvalho and Harvey Elliott, one of them plays a lot less, without a shadow of a doubt. So what is it that we want? Do we just want to not have any of them get any minutes and say we bring through young players, or do we just want to bring in someone that's going to take away that time? Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a difficult one. Maybe that, obviously, there's still room, there's still time for someone, because Keita's only got 1 year left. So if we get a bid for Keita and Ox, that's 2 that have gone. Then I'll change to say we most definitely need a centre midfielder going into the new season to challenge.
When you're looking at his stats, James, where about did he play? Is he on the right side of midfield?
Yeah, right central midfield. But I think to just slightly take a different view on Bob's point, I think the Premier League's about to go up a level because there's 5 subs now. 5 subs mean five. Yeah, so 5 subs mean fresher teams, mean quicker changes, mean that managers have the opportunity to change games and put energy in there. I think, yeah, we've got a great line of minutes for players and stuff like that, but now if someone gets tired in one of these lower clubs, they can bring on energy. Now, while I think that's great, more younger players are going to get an opportunity. Clubs like Liverpool need to have international quality to come off and just kill off these teams very quickly. So I think maybe we need one more. Just for the
level would you say we need? So when you say one more, so when I say what level, like, so for instance, you get like a Bellingham who's top tier.
I think if we're going to wait for Bellingham, I'd take someone like Nunez, who is apparently Sporting's best player. Although the jump to the Premier League is a big one, he's then coming in as a right centre midfielder who's then learning from Henderson, so he has got time to ease into the squad.
And would you take him without selling any of the ones that we've got at the moment? Or?
I wouldn't sell anyone. I think Keita's not injury prone, but he misses a lot of games.
Sell Keita if he's not signing a new deal, because then you lose him for nothing.
Yeah, but I think he's slightly rocky. He goes through periods. I think when you look at his injury record on transfer market, he's like 3 days, 2 games, this, that, and the other. I think he's a great player, but I couldn't bet my house on him. So I would. If you can get Bellingham, you get Bellingham, don't you? This is the thing. If anyone gets the opportunity, you get it done. But for me, I wanted Kessie because he was unreal pressing. Like he was a workhorse who never got injured. I'd take I'd take a Nunez.
Would you have taken Basuma for 25 million?
Based on
ignoring his personal.
Yeah, football.
That's been cleared now.
Has it?
Smoke, fire.
Yeah, I heard it's been cleared. I heard he's been cleared of it.
Yeah, but smoke, fire, reputation.
I mean, I think it's mad that he's went for 25 mil. I think he's that price tag.
He had a year left though, didn't he? And he's Brighton, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that type of player, Bob, someone that is pure energy and can tackle and can break up a game if it starts to get away with us. Because currently that's going to fall on Milner. And what Milner does is he just goes through somebody, gives away a foul, which is fine a lot of the time. I think it's only
beautiful what he done at McTominay when he came on, wasn't it? It was absolute James Milner retro, that was. Just smashed him straight away.
Well, yeah, just a bit more energy. That's why I'd have a Ward-Prowse, someone that, can just give us a bit, can just ping the ball to Diaz and go.
I think Ward-Prowse cost 50 mil, though.
He wouldn't.
English tax, 100%. Southampton, you're going back again.
Surely we're due a free coffee from them by now.
He's the Southampton captain as well.
He's the captain, yeah.
You can't. But he's got one move left in his career. I don't think you could do it to him if a club like us, City, Chelsea, because everyone was talking like one of the big clubs coming in for him as a squad player. I think it'd be perfect for Arsenal, by the way. I don't think you could block him. He's given everything to that club.
I don't think they can block him, but I just think I'm surprised. Like you said, not many teams have gone after him. Not even the tier below the top 4. Like
Sangha, United, for example. You know that trying to break into that top 10. James Ward-Prowse would be perfect for United who are trying to get into that top 10. That would be a great signing for him.
They're mad, them. They're trying to get the young. He doesn't even want to play there. It's the mad transfer philosophy. I understand. But yeah, before we do go today, I'm going to go to both of you and ask for your score predictions for tomorrow. Not that it matters. We could get battered and watch Twitter go into meltdown again. But I'll start with you, James. Give us a score prediction and some goal scorers.
I'm going to go 4-2. I'm going to go 1 for Diaz, 2 for Salah, and 1 for Van Dijk.
I'd like that. What about you, Bob?
I'm going to go for a 2-2. Just someone mentioned about free kicks earlier that Trent needs to improve on his free kicks. I can't remember if it was you, Matty, or James. When is Virgil going to get a shout?
We need to get it on target. Oh, have you seen his free kicks, Virgil?
With Virgil, we've waited, 2-3 years for him to have a free kick. He had one, was it against Brentford?
Yeah, that's one. That's one.
Everyone was sat there in eager anticipation once he stepped up for that free kick. Like, go on. But yeah, I do agree. I'd like to see Virgil take some free kicks because he can't.
Or someone else, or even Salah. Like, why is he always the step over guy? Like, do you know what I mean? This is like an elite guy. We just use him to like step over the free kick.
There's a video somewhere where Van Dijk, Trent, and Gomez were like doing these shooting practices, and Gomez won the ball just nonchalantly. Absolutely, like his free kick just bent right in the top corner. Never scored for us. I think I saw someone in chat saying 186 games and he's never scored. He's definitely due one.
Maybe
give him one.
Especially in pre-season, like the other day when we got one, I thought, come on, Trent, it's a friendly. Like when the season starts, you'll be on them. Let someone else have a go. Do you know what I mean? Let's see if someone else is capable of that. No, wasn't to be.
I think it's in his contract now, isn't it?
I mean, for what it's worth, I think tomorrow we'll win 6-1. That's my prediction. I think we'll
take. What are you going for? All 6 goals by Virgil van Dijk?
Nah, I reckon Nunez will get 1. Diaz will get 2. Salah will get 2, and Carvalho will get 1.
Oh, that's a good shout, Carvalho to get 1. I think he'll. Yeah,
Carvalho or Elliott, or I think one of them will get 1 tomorrow. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I am here tomorrow for the watch along. I'll be on from about 1 p.m. in this sun, so you best come and watch it because it's going to kill me 2 hours in this sweat up to a room. James
will come in the chat and tell you how cool I am.
James is laughing, but he's got it all to come in a few weeks as well. So we'll see how it goes there. But yeah, I'm back tomorrow. And if you are new around here, don't forget to leave a like, rate, and subscribe on the video. It does really help us out a lot. Nice one to James and to Bob for today's stream. Hopefully another win tomorrow for the Reds and not another humiliating defeat, even though it is only pre-season.